Sharks have been in this planet for 400 million years, inhabiting our oceans even before the existence of trees. But in the past few decades, sharks have taken a beating, and humans have been targeting and wiping out about 100 million sharks per year. Our ocean is made up of delicate food webs. Sharks are at the top of these webs and are a keystone species. Without them, the entire ecosystem structure will collapse. So our survival in part depends on theirs. But we can't protect what we don't understand. And apparently, there is hope through shark ecotourism. And what is that tour about? Throwing fish blood into the ocean and then jumping in the water. Most of the time, without cages. Might sound scary, but what we should actually fear is an ocean without sharks. In this small coastal village called Puerto San Carlos in Baja California, shark fishing has been the main activity practiced by the fishing communities here for generations.
So this is Magdalena Island, and this is where the local fishermen usually gather after their fishing trips, most of them shark fishing trips. What happens here is when they come back, this is where they tear the sharks apart. They cut their fins out, they dry them up to the sun, and they just get rid of the carcasses.
So how many sharks can you see over there just in a season?
Well, I would say in a good day, there will be around maybe, I don't know, 15 boats out. And maybe
15 boats?
15 boats. So maybe each should have around 15 sharks.
15 sharks per boat?
Yeah.
So 15 like times 15?
Exactly.
On like one day?
Exactly. So you would see hundreds of sharks.
That's over 200 sharks?
Yeah, easily.
On one single day?
Yeah. Yeah, they bring any type, any sizes, any...
So we're talking about hundreds of sharks every day for how many days?
The season would be like around 2 months.
With thousands of sharks fished per season here, this coastal village alone causes a ripple effect for shark populations worldwide, further battering a species that is already under imminent threat. But a group of young Mexican entrepreneurs have taken on the challenge of disrupting the ongoing massacre.
So Pierre, what is Pelagic Life?
Pelagic Life is a Mexican NGO that is focused on protection and conservation of marine life in Mexico.
So why do you guys select this spot in particular?
Here, the shark fishing community is quite large, and we wanted to turn them to the other side, and that they can actually earn a much better living through ecotourism than what they are currently going through with shark fishing as a whole activity.
But the challenge has been to convince fishermen like Jorge Alvaro and Jorge Armando, belonging to one of the 70 fishermen families who depend on shark fishing as their main source of income, that sharks are worth more alive than dead.
¿Cuál es tu oficio?
Mi oficio, tiburonero. Tenemos años trabajando el tiburón.
Cuando llegas a recoger los tiburones, ¿y cómo los sacas?
Con un gancho, lo sacas y lo echas al río de la panga, de la embarcación. Y ya, pues, mientras el trayecto que viene se mueren o ahí mismo se mueren. Se ahogan en el mismo rato. Ese no es problema.
¿Y cuando vas en una salida, cuántos tiburones coges?
Pues a veces me ha tocado agarrar de a 15, de a 20, hasta de a 40. Pero últimamente no hemos ido porque pues, no es redituable, está muy lejos, está muy barato el trozo, la aleta también está bien barata. Y luego es pesca de noche, peligrosa, muy lejos por donde va uno.
First off, they need to go out deep into the ocean. They need to be at least 60 miles off from the coast. They do this at night, and that's when they set their long lines. They spend the night out at sea. The community has already lost 4 fishermen in the past year because their boats capsized due to the amount of sharks they had on them.
With a recent drop in shark fin prices and a decreasing number of sharks in the region, combined with the risk implicated in shark fishing here, shark fishermen are now considering alternatives.
¿Y por eso estás considerando volverte guía?
Sí, por eso, porque ya no nos conviene salir. ¿Por qué? Porque ya no vale la aleta. Sale muy cara las salidas.
The current tourist operators generate roughly $9 million a year in a community that generated, I think it's basically $2 million a year through fishing. So you have a 400% increase in income through tourism.
¿Tienes esperanza de que se pueda lograr, de que se puedan convencer a estas 70 familias acá localmente de que dejen de pescar tiburones y pasen más bien a ser guías para llevar a personas a bucear con ellos?
Yo pienso que sí. Cuando tú les ofreces una alternativa que, aunque no lo parezca que el nado con tiburones sea seguro, si hablamos en términos económicos, es mucho más rentable que el pescar tiburones, ¿no? Además, pues, un tiburón vivo te vale mucho más que un tiburón muerto si lo hablamos en números de salidas a llevarlos a bucear con ellos, ¿no?
The conversation begins by taking the shark fishermen swimming, without a cage, with the diverse shark species here in Puerto San Carlos, so that in the near future, they will be able to guide shark diving operations with tourists on board. To witness firsthand what shark fisherman Jorge Alvaro would feel during his first amicable interaction with sharks, I set out on a 20-mile panga boat trip for 3 days, together with Jorge and the pelagic life team, on a search for sharks. But during the trip, I discovered that converting fishermen is not the only challenge here.
Bueno, ahorita lo que estamos haciendo es el cebado. Estamos moliendo macarela y algunas partes de otros peces. Se hace una especie de caldo y empezamos a vertirlo al mar. Se va a hacer un camino que los tiburones van a poder encontrar.
We've been here for 4 hours in the middle of the ocean. No sharks to be seen. Yesterday we spent 9 hours. We didn't see any sharks. And apparently it is because of El Niño. They say that the waters are too warm for sharks this time of the year. I think that there's just not enough sharks in the water anymore because we just fished them out. I love what you guys do. The intentions that you have to change the shark fisherman's mind. But nonetheless, we just spent more than 50 hours far away from the shore. I mean, chumming, waiting for sharks in very rough seas, in these fishermen boats, little pangas. I'm just trying to think as a tourist attraction to see sharks. How viable do you see it?
We've been running this viability study for the whole year, since January. And I can tell you this weekend in particular, sadly, has been like the most disappointing of them all. It's El Niño year, so that means the water is really, really warm. So for example, for a species that we normally have in these waters, that is mako sharks and blue sharks, the water is too warm. And so it's not only about watching sharks, it's about getting to a remote place, meeting the local people, getting out on a panga, admiring the landscape, the sand dunes, the islands, and seeing what you might encounter along the way.
Despite the ongoing challenges, during my visit to Puerto San Carlos, some shark fishermen families had already taken a U-turn.
We currently have 3 families working with us that have completely crossed the line. They are always waiting for us to come, and we're trying to do something to bring more people in, more fishing families.
Since then, another 6 families have joined the team, taking a total of 205 tourists to swim with sharks. If Pelagic Life continues to implement this project, converting shark fishermen into tourist guides, the planet will witness a huge step towards shark conservation. Next, on shark tourism. Here in the Bahamas, you will meet a plethora of sharks swimming in refuge and in the safety of the Caribbean's first shark sanctuary, where scuba operators actively promote shark diving and snorkeling expeditions.
We have a lot of different species, and the different species of sharks react slightly differently to people being in the water. Just go and have some fun, man. It's so rad.